Hey guys, this video is going to go over evaluating expressions. Alright, so it says evaluate if x equals -4, m is 3, and n is -2. So the very first thing I would always do is come down to this expression and fill in whatever these variables equal. So x, I'll start with x, it says it's -4. So right underneath there I'm going to write -4. Okay, then I'm going to keep my minus sign, so I'll just rewrite that. Then I need to come to n. It says n is -2, so I'm going to put -2 in parentheses. All right, right after that it says minus, so I'll write my minus sign. And finally it says m, so I'm going to fill in m, which is just a normal 3. All right, now that I've rewritten it, now I can go through and do my subtraction. All right, so I notice that these are all, the only symbols I see are subtraction. So I'm going to go through and turn anywhere where I see subtraction into addition by adding the opposite. So my first number stays because that's what I start with. I'm going to turn this subtraction sign into an addition sign. I'm going to add, and then I have to do the opposite of this number. The opposite of -2 is +2. All right, then I'm going to come to this next subtraction sign. Again, I'm going to change it to add and do the opposite. So I'm going to turn it to add, and then the opposite of a normal 3 is -3. All right, my last step is to put everything together. So now it's adding. It doesn't matter the order that I add in. So I'm going to put my negatives together first. I have -4 and -3. Now those are both negatives, so I can put them together. That's going to give me 7 negatives. Okay, I use those plus a +2. All right, positive and negatives, they don't combine together. They actually cancel each other out. So it looks like I have more negatives, so my answer is negative, and these two positives are going to cancel 2 of those, so I'm going to be left with -5 for my final answer. Okay, let's check out another one. So I'm going to start by just filling in the numbers. So instead of an m, I'm going to put a 3, plus, instead of an x, I'm going to put a -4, put that in parentheses, and then it says minus, and then instead of an n, I'm going to put a -2, and I'm going to write that in parentheses. All right, so now I'm going to go through. I see my first thing I have is addition. So it says 3 plus. So I can just rewrite that 3 plus. I don't need to change this because it was adding. I like adding already. So I'll just keep my -4. All right, now as I go through, I see another subtraction sign. I'm going to change that to adding. And then I need to change that to the opposite of -2, which is +2. All right, now my whole problem is an addition problem. They're both adding. So it doesn't matter the order I add in, so I'm going to take these two positives, put those together. 3 plus 2 is 5, and then it says plus -4. All right, my last step is I can't combine those because it's a bunch of positives and negatives. They don't combine. So you have to think, well, what do you have more of? I have more positives. All right, so those 4 negatives will cancel 4 of those, so I'm going to subtract that, and I'm left with 1 positive for my final answer. All right, we have one more. If you'd like to try this one first and then watch me do it, you can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and start. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm still just going to rewrite this whole problem. I'm going to keep the negative sign. I'm going to keep these absolute value symbols. They're kind of like parentheses. You save them till last. Okay, then instead of an x here, I'm going to put a -4. I'll keep my minus sign. And then instead of an n, I'm going to put a -2. I'll write that in parentheses. All right, so these absolute value symbols, you save those till last, so you need to do everything inside there. So I'm just going to kind of rewrite those to start with. All right, inside there, I see I have -4 minus -2. All right, I see it's subtraction, so I'm going to turn it to add, and then the opposite of -2 is a +2. So I'm going to rewrite it as -4 plus 2. All right, so now I need to solve inside here. I need to do -4 plus a +2. Can't combine those, so I know they're going to cancel. These two are going to cancel 2 of those, so I'm going to be left with -2. I still have my absolute value symbols, and I still have this negative sign out front. All right, now finally I can do the absolute value of -2. So the absolute value of -2 means how far away is it from 0? Well, it's 2 spots, so my answer is 2. But then out front, remember, I still have the negative sign, or opposite of whatever my answer was. So instead of a 2, I'm going to change it to a -2. And there is my final answer. All right, so if you need to go rewatch any of those examples or try them again, go ahead and do that.